thing have I desired, David said. One thing. I mean, when he says that, he says this is the most important thing I have desired in my life. Jesus. Of the Lord, that will I seek after. Not only is he desiring it, he's going to do something active. He's going to seek after it. That I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to behold the beauty of the Lord, and to inquire, to pray, to ask in his temple or in his church. Isn't that beautiful?
Thank you, Lord.
The beauty of God. Now he really didn't see God, but he knew that the beauty of God's presence. The beauty of God's presence. No man can see God because you can't see him you can't see him in literally face to face, because he's so holy and pure it would consume us. But we can see him face to face in the presence of God. It's called the joy of the Lord. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? The joy of the Lord. Has anybody experienced the joy of the Lord? One thing I want this church to have is joy. I want people to have joy in this church. Joy of the Lord. Because it's your strength. If you leave out these doors, make sure you got some joy. If you don't, start shouting at the door. Hallelujah. If you don't have joy right now, you need to be in this altar here in about 5 minutes. Amen. We need to have the joy of the Lord. It don't matter your age, you need to have the joy of the Lord. Because when you've got the joy of the Lord, you become the light of Israel, the light of God. You become that light that's shining, that the devil can't put up. Look, this little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Verse 5, for in the time of trouble, David said, he shall hide me in his pavilion, in his presence, in the secret of his tabernacle shall he hide me. He shall set me up upon a rock. We know Jesus is a rock. Up a rock. A rock there means safety. God wants you safe. Though the floods, the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Lord will lift up a standard against him. Amen. It don't matter how big that flood or that tidal wave or that tsunami. It might be so 100 foot high. And if you are a child of God in God's will, you can stand there. I believe you need to have due prudence and you get out of the way of that tsunami. But I believe that God will protect you even in a tsunami, even in an earthquake, even in a volcano. I believe he'll help you. Amen. In Washington years ago, they had a huge volcano. I forgot the name of it. Amen. And that volcano, it killed people, and the dust was spread for hundreds and hundreds of miles. But there was one came out of there. He had dust all over him. He was a mountain man, that type of a man. He had been up to the mountaintop in Washington State. He'd been there when it erupted, and he kept holding on. He was a believer. He said, I can make it out of this. I can make it with God. All things are possible. I can do all things through Christ which strengtheneth me. He kept on putting one foot before the other. He kept on tracking out of there. Kept on going. Church, we got to keep on going. We can't give up. We can't look back. Look forward. The cross before me. The world behind me. Jesus is coming soon. Just look around. Look at what's happening in America. Look what's happening in the world. The world's gone crazy. Amen. But we need to be crazy for Christ. Somebody say amen there.
Thank you, Lord.
Verse 6, and now shall my head be lifted up above my enemies. It means you'll be victorious.
Glory to God.
Above my enemies, round about me. Therefore will I, look at this, everybody get this.
Thank you, Jesus.
Will I offer in his tabernacle or church sacrifices of joy. Hallelujah. Praise his name.
Thank you, Lord.
The song, I love that song. It goes, hallelujah, hallelujah. You sing that, sister?
Thank you, Jesus.
Sacrifices of joy. Because when we come to church, this is the best place to be ever was. Not because of any person specifically, but because God's here. God's not in every church. I've been in plenty that God wasn't in. And I was trying to start praising God and hoping He'll show up, you know. But I would never mention the name of any, but these churches that say they are, but they're not. So be alert, discern the Spirit. It says, I will sing, yea, I will sing praises unto the Lord. So here David worshiping God. And in Psalms 119, David said, 7 times a day do I praise. And that word praise in the Hebrew means celebrate, to boast, to make show, to elevate thee. He's praising thee. When the multitudes of the army were around Jehoshaphat, were around Hezekiah, were around Asa, were around Joaz, were around Josiah, were around Solomon, were around David, were around Abraham, were around all these men, and Deborah and Barak are men and women of God. And when they got down to business with God, and that goes for every situation you've got in here, when it gets down to the line, if you've got your priorities right, if you're walking in step with Jesus, everything's going to be all right. You are victorious through the blood of Jesus Christ. One thing I desire, I have desired, David said. Verse 7, finishing up. Hear, O Lord, when I cry with my voice. Have mercy also upon me, and answer me. Verse 8, when thou saidest, seek ye my face, my heart said unto thee, thy face, Lord, will I seek. You know, I'm a firm believer, if you are seeking the face of God, you're going to find Him. And He's going to convict if you've done anything wrong or something you should be doing and you're not doing. He's going to convict you. And if you're walking in His perfect will, He's going to bless you and me. Aren't you glad that you serve a God of love and not a God of hate? He's not vindictive. He doesn't have contempt for people. He is a jealous God. That's one of the 10 commandments. He's a jealous God, but He's a loving God. The Bible said in 1 John, God is love. But Brother Spike said part of the verses in 1 John 2:15, love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, lust of the eyes, lust of the flesh, the pride of life, and all the folly that is of the world. Verse 17, and the world passeth away, and the lust thereof. But he or she that doeth the will of God abideth forever. So how important is that? It says, will I seek? Thy face will I seek. In the last verse, I think, teach me thy ways, O Lord, and lead me in a plain path. You know, we live in a world where there's many paths. There's paths of pleasure. There's paths, let's talk about that earlier, where the bed sheets get heavy. That's a path called bed sheets, I guess. People can't get out to the house of God because of the bed sheets, you know. There's a path of doing good, but you can't get to heaven just about doing good. You got to have a born-again experience with Jesus Christ, personal relationship. And there's a path that leads to destruction. And broad is the way, Brother Spike. Broad is the way. And then there's a straight path or a plain path. And it's for the righteous and the just. And I hope
Thank you,
everybody here is on that path
Praise the Lord.
because of my enemies.